Hello, everybody, and welcome to the world of Timberborn. I'm a new YouTuber. I've always wanted to have a go at doing YouTube and creating content, and my life's been a bit insane and crazy, so I never really had the chance to do it. But one thing I noticed, I love city builders, and I would spend a lot of time in my downtime playing it. And that kind of led me on to an idea where I thought, well, I'm spending all this time playing the game. Why not create a video as well and have a go and explore? I have no idea what these videos are going to be, what they're going to look like, and how they're going to develop. So we're kind of on this journey together. I'm always going to be creating two videos for this series. One is the short video, which you're watching now, and the other is a long video where it's in real time and I am just talking through it and explaining what I'm doing. I want these videos to be really chill. I want them to be something that you put on in the background and just have playing. And if you guys have any comments or suggestions on how to make these better in the future or what you would like to see, please feel free to write in the comments and we can see what we can do. So that's a little bit of an introduction to me and what I'm doing and what I hope to achieve. Let's talk about Timberborn. So I've been playing this game pretty much since it's released. On embarrassingly on Steam, it says I've got over 1,000 hours. Now, I would say most of those hours are I just left it running to see the beavers survive or if they could build. But I like to make this game difficult. I never play games on an easy mode, even when I first buy them. I like to learn by failure. So this one's no different. I started with no babies, there are 8 beavers, and there was no food, and there's no water. The drought is set to 130 days, and the bad tide is set to 130 days as well. So I came into this not really understanding what the developers had done on version 1. This is the first playthrough I did on it. Well, more on that a little bit later. Let's look at how I started. So I focused on food, I focused on water, and I focused as much as I possibly could on that. And as you can see, we've gone down to 4 beavers from the 8. They're dying because I really didn't focus on the food. Those berries ran out so quickly. And I turned the water off because I didn't have enough farmers. I focused the farmers on harvesting just to keep those 4 alive. And now we're down to 3. We've got 3 adults. We have no baby beavers. We have no berries. So I thought this was going to be the shortest YouTube series that had ever been created in my career, and YouTube was going to come to an end after about 20 minutes. I always do this. I focus on the architecture, I get excited about the building, and I get excited about focusing on the long game way too early in the process. And it came back to bite me again here, and it bites me again later in this episode as well. I just get so excited about the future of the colony and what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. And when you watch the long video, you'll hear me obsess over the water. The water becomes a constant obsession for me. And that's because when I loaded it up, I noticed on this version of it, the water in the center of Oasis, which is one of the new maps, only comes up to this level. It doesn't get any higher. No more water is coming. It means that creating power is going to be really challenging. How do we get water out of here? Well, there's sort of two options that I normally play with. One is obviously store water, but storing water is just not going to be enough. And you can see here, this is what I'm doing. I'm clicking on those new geothermal areas, which I didn't know what they were, and later finding on that they produce 400 energy each, and coming up with a strategy to build a huge reservoir. And that's normally my go-to play. I'll build levees around the water source and I'll build them right the way to the sky. I'll put a little video on right now of what that looks like that I've done in previous builds. And there was enough water in all of these to sustain about 1,000 beavers over a 130-day drought, which is normally my end game. But to build them that high, you need water that continuously fills up, and you use a lot of gates and water control to spread it around the map and keep it going throughout around the whole drought. And I love working that out. And you're going to see a lot of that hopefully on this playthrough once I work through it. So I'm activating the first strategy here, basic water storage. It's not going to last long, but at the moment I've only got 2 pumping stations. They can only hold 15 each. And we've now got babies and we've got adults. It's just not enough to sustain them 10 days, never mind 130. So we're going to focus on that. And then we start thinking about the future. Well, the only way to store large amounts of money on this map is to use pumping stations and raise those pumping stations up 8 blocks and throw it into a levied reservoir to allow it to trickle out. They've also designed this map to be at the base level, so having any water wheels on this stage of the game is impossible. So as I'm working through these conversations and planning out the colony, I soon realized that if this area at the bottom is the only green area, I need to plant down here. I need to get food, I need to get trees for the long game, and I need to get out of this hole. And the only way to get out of the hole is to build stairs and platforms. Well, that's like 170 research points, and I don't have a lot of beavers, and I'm concerned that the drought is going to come at any time and that water's not going to sustain. So I start to understand that housing, storage needs to be built on the dead areas. And then that comes to later in the game where I think, oh, I'm going to build the houses on the left. My reservoir is going to go on the north. My storage is going to go on the east. And that's because I've got power there. So that power is going to drive the woodworking, the metal creation, the treated planks, the whatever you need to be able to do it. Those have got to drive the power, which is never going to be enough for pumps in the future video. We're going to build it. We're going to see what that looks like, and we're just going to try and survive through the droughts. So now I'm starting to enact that plan. I'm starting to go, okay, I'm going to move my farms down to the south. I'm going to have my trees planted on the east, and then I'm going to focus the west on housing, of water storage, and on food storage. That leaves the north free to create that reservoir, which I'll be doing the next series. I also kind of worked out that in that area at the bottom, I could create mangroves and use that whole water area for mangrove food, but I need I need planks, and I need wood, and I need research to build a forester before it'll let me do the mangroves. And I also need forester to plant oak trees. Now, I know that oak trees take 30 days to grow into adults, and that is a long time playing on a mode like this, where if a drought comes, all of this area down here is going to die. And if that hits me for 30 days, 40 days, those trees are going to die as well. But I just don't see the point of planting pine. When you do the math, when you've not got a lot of area like this with limited resources, take the gamble and do oak. You get 8 logs per tree, and it just goes so much further. I am going to need to plant pine because I'm going to need resin to make treated planks. So you can see that plan coming together now. I'm planting trees. I'm focusing again on the beaver survival. We're going to let this kind of play out a little bit more. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this journey that I want to take on YouTube. I'm a creative. I've always been a creative person. I focused my career around storytelling, about creation, about kind of inspiring people to achieve and do whatever they want to do within their lives. So if you're sitting here just thinking to yourself, do you know what? I'd like to do something like this, but I can't. Well, it's actually really simple to get started. You need a basic microphone and you need OBS, which you can download on Steam and it's free. That will allow you to record the game like I've done. And there are cheap or even free video editing software out there that you can create these videos with and just have fun with it. You know, just think about where it can go, what we can do and what that could look like. I know AI is a conversation right now that a lot of creators are either fully behind or they're scared of, or it's going to kind of take their life over. But I'm really fascinated to go start this journey, see where these videos go. And as you watch these videos and I bring them out, we're going to explore with new future technology that's out there. What can AI do? How can it help these videos? Does it make these videos worse? Does it lose that human connection? You know, and then if it goes too far, we pull it back, and I can do some hand drawing and communicate storytelling in a different way. And that's what's always kept me excited throughout my career and my life. How can we have the vision to push creativity forward that inspires the next generation? And I've always tried to build my career in life around making the world a better place through storytelling and creativity, inspiring people. And actually, one of my icons and legends is Bob Ross, funny enough. You watch his videos, and he was a guy who lived out in, I believe he lived in Orlando, and he created those videos for public TV, and he didn't make a penny out of them. He just enjoyed painting, he enjoyed creation, but he wanted to share that with the world, and he found a medium to do that in a time where the internet wasn't a thing, and he was on public access, so it didn't have a lot of outreach. But he still worked out a way to do it where he became a local phenomenon and then a sort of national one and then a global one. I mean, you can buy mints. I was out shopping the other day and there's these mints for sale that says happy little tree mints. And I just laughed and I have them, you know, because I just think it's just incredible that a guy that only did it not to be famous, not to be rich, do anything, but just for the love and passion of creation and sharing that with the world. And that's what I like to do. I've never done it on YouTube before. I don't even know if anyone's going to watch this. I don't know if anyone's going to keep watching it. And it'll be interesting to come back to if I don't know, 5, 6, 10 years time and watch this video and cringe about how terrible it is. But that's all part of a journey. And I believe in educating through doing. I've mentored a lot of people, I've given a lot of lectures, and I've spoken out about the things that I've done. And they always ask me, how do I get started? Where do you get your inspiration from? What is it that excites you about your day to day? And more importantly, if I go to university or college, what courses do I need to study? Well, actually, I believe that there are reasons you need to go to university to be a doctor or to learn certain skills, but it's so expensive. It's so expensive to do that you can start your life out in debt. And I'm actually totally fearful of debt. It makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. So if you're a creative and you want to create a video, use your mobile phone. Find a device or a cheap camera. Go out into the woods or your house, make a video, edit that together using free software or whatever it is, and just start. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be amazing. You're not going to make millions off your first thing if that's what your intention is, but just starting. And maybe on another episode, I'll talk about the blank piece of paper problem. It's something I speak about a lot, about having the bravery as a creative to draw a line, have that line ripped apart and thrown away and redraw it again. But more on that sort of stuff later. Let's look at Timberborn again. Let's go back into this. So we are getting somewhere. We've got cogs being created. We have got planks being created. I'm now focusing on making our beavers a little bit happier by creating them a housing development, because we want happy beavers in the end. We don't want them to be sad and miserable and depressed. We want them to be able to go home and rest at night. And now I've got the food established. I've got the wood and the resource established, and they're building the things they need to. I'm going to start on that next part of the game of storing food, creating housing, creating entertainment, and trying to make them a little bit more happier with their lives. And we're making storage for food. We've got the housing here. We've even got a fire pit that we've put in. We're putting in medical tents, and we're putting in teeth grinding to try and keep them healthy while they just focus on pumping that water out, building storage to try and get us through the next drought. One of the things you'll notice on here that I've done is I've started to pause the breeding pods. That's because we've got a lot of beavers. There's like 57 of them. That's way too many with the water and food storage that I've got. So normally what you'll see me do is when a drought hits, I will only have 2 of those on, and that will mean the older beavers will die off naturally and young ones will come in for the next season. And I really hope when I do it that I get it just right, that I don't have to sacrifice any of them. And sacrificing beavers on this game, unfortunately, when you play at this level, is a necessity, where you make a district and you send a lot of beavers to it so you can feed the few so they can survive to the next round. It's never a very fun part in the game, but that we're going to try and avoid that on this. And I'm happy if you guys want to come up with any solutions or ideas to make this harder. Give me a challenge. We can do perma beavers, where if they die, they die. How many cycles can we get through? Maybe we do a challenge where we do a perma and we only start with 1 adult on this map or whichever map it is. And they could be a lot shorter series because, I don't think I'm going to last very long doing it, but I like to have challenges like that. So we can see the drought has been announced. When you watch the long video, I'm freaking out. I don't have enough water stored. I've got too many beavers, and I put it on hard. You won't believe it's on hard because the amount of days it just gave me, and when the drought hits, it's like 4 days of drought. Makes it look like I've put it on incredibly easy version of the game, but at least we get through this episode alive. We have beavers, we have food, we have a ways to get water. And the next, I am going to focus on building that reservoir, pumping that water out, and trying to prepare for the big drought days, which are going to be coming. So, if you made it this far, please let me know what you think. Stay with me through this series. We'll explore YouTube creation together and storytelling, and hopefully to see you in the next video.